Hi, my name is Giselle Thompson, and welcome to the Live the Life You Want speaker series. The goal of this series is to offer you practical strategies and ideas on how to overcome adversity, be happy, and live the life of your dreams. The reason I wanted to do this series was because myself, I was in a bit of a dark place a few years ago, and I was able to benefit from resources and ideas and people outside of me and everything that I had tried that wasn't working anymore. And I wanted to bring together a whole bunch of experts to share with you their experiences and their insights to help you lift yourself out of the places where you're struggling. So today I have the pleasure of welcoming Carolyn Guyton. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you today, Giselle.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited that you're here today. So Carolyn is a speaker, life coach, and workshop facilitator. After experiencing life-changing personal growth, Carolyn had become passionate about encouraging and assisting others in doing the same. She has served as a personnel generalist for the University of Alabama at Birmingham and Department of Psychiatry for 10 years. She assumed this role after doing administrative work for 22 years at the university. She is also a graduate of the UAB, University of Alabama School of Business. Carolyn's career in human resources is a sweet spot for her. She enjoys working with people and takes pleasure in assisting others in achieving personal growth and excellence. The reason I was excited to have Carolyn join us when I found her website, I loved how she focused on that we need a plan to fulfill that purpose that's waiting for us to fulfill. And we need to live out that plan one step at a time. She talked about how she knows how it felt to just float through life being carried into places she may not have chosen for herself. But when she made the decision to live her life with intention, to discover her purpose, to create a specific life plan and then walk it, she found fulfillment. And now she does that for you and all the people that she's coached and all the people she will coach in the future. So it's very exciting to have Carolyn here with us today. She'll be focusing on accessing your personal story to discover your life's purpose. So welcome again. Thanks, Carolyn, for coming today.
Thank you.
So your first question on accessing your personal story to discover your life's purpose. What is it in your experiences that has brought you to this specialty you have, helping people discover and embrace their life's purpose?
You know, I think that would be finding my own purpose. And that was not something I was looking for. It just kind of found me. See, I come from a place of extreme feelings of insecurity and inadequacy, and that's partially because of my personality style. I know these things now, I didn't realize then, and partially because of my upbringing. And I was just always so shy and so fearful of life and everybody. And, you know, it's our thoughts, as you know, our thoughts that create our feelings, and our feelings create our actions, and it's our actions that create our results and therefore our life. And so it all stems from our thinking, and my thinking that I was less than everybody else in the world caused me to feel so inadequate that I just really wasn't functioning fully in my life, and definitely not having the fulfillment that I desired. And being in that place caused me to make some poor choices. Feeling so inadequate in myself, I made some poor choices. And that caused me to have a lot to work through to build myself and build the life that I wanted. And one of the things that I feel like was a poor choice, I didn't go to college out of high school. And I know college is not for everybody, but I graduated valedictorian in my high school class and then chose not to go to college. And that, I just kind of feel that would have, I don't know where I might have been now if I had done that. However, as I grew in life and did things purposely to help myself get out of my comfort zone, and I purposely put myself in positions that were very uncomfortable just because I knew you have to walk through it to get over it. And so I would do those kind of things. And after moving up in my job and building a little bit more strength in myself, I started to realize that there was more out there and that I could do more than I was doing, and I really wanted that. So that's when I decided to go to college. So I took my first ever college class at the age of 39.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I graduated almost 10 years later at the age of 49. I worked full time and just took a class or two at a time. And that was such a great accomplishment. And I feel really good about having that degree. But what it really did for me mostly was the process of those 10 years of school and the things that I did there that were so uncomfortable. But when you step out and do those things, then you realize, oh, I can do this. And so then I can do more. And so what that did for me, that experience of college at that point in my life, just built confidence in me exponentially. And it was during that college experience that I was offered the opportunity to attend a day-long seminar. It was called Get Motivated. And so I took this opportunity. I mean, it was free for me as a student, and all I had to do was take a day off work and go. And it sounded interesting, so I went. But that day is something that changed my life because one of the speakers there was Zig Ziglar. And I'd heard of Zig Ziglar, but, I never really followed him or anything. And just sitting under him talking was incredible. He just had a way of making you want to get up and go do everything right now and thinking that you can. And so I started following him. I started searching out his materials, his newsletter, his books. And I just started reading more and more of him. And through him, I would find other authors. And so at that point, I was checking out books from the library. It was books on CD because, you don't have a lot of time with life to do actual reading. And so there were times that I would have 6 to 10 books in my car at a time. And I would just put them in, listen to one after the other after the other. And it was after doing that for, I'm not even sure how long, months and months, that one day I just realized I feel different. And I realized that I was doing things that I had been doing, but I had been doing them with that same feeling of fear. It's like, okay, you may see confidence out here, but inside I'm just a little bundle of fear. And I realized that day that I was doing these things and I was comfortably doing these things. I was feeling good about what I was doing, and I wasn't having to worry about every little thing like I had been when I was doing that. Maybe it didn't show that much to others outside, at least initially, but it's the way I felt. And that's when I realized that if this kind of thing changed my life that drastically, that there were other people who needed that same kind of change. And so that's when I started looking for ways to share. And so I was in a great position for that because I was doing human resources for a department. And so I was allowed to go into some of the work groups there and take some tools like StrengthsFinder and work with work groups and help them to understand themselves and one another and, build the teams. And it just became more and more. And I was able to work with individuals, of course, employees, and helping them. And that's when I realized, I loved my job with HR, but that's when I realized this was my sweet spot. This is what I really was made to do. And it's what gave me so much fulfillment. So I eventually retired so I could build my business of just doing that.
That's exciting.
Yes.
I really appreciate your you're sharing, like how far the journey has been for you, like from being so uncertain to now being comfortable. And I like how, you know, others can learn from your example. Like everything is possible. You know, you don't have to live with the bundle of fear all your life. You can just make it stop just when you're ready.
And yeah, you can do that. But one thing I want is to hopefully help people. I want to say that it's never too late. And this happened for me. It took a whole lot of years to get there. And I would like to help people, one thing, say, you know, you can do it, even if it is later in life, but to hopefully help people not to have to go through everything I did and take so long to find that fulfillment. If I can just bring some things now that will help people, go ahead and work toward that. That's what is so important to me. That's the reason I'm continuing to put myself in these, you know, I never would have thought I would be speaking in public and those kind of things, you know, the way I used to be. But I'm finding that I kind of enjoy it. I mean, it's amazing to me. And other people can have that wonderful feeling of fulfillment as well.
And this kind of interview, this is a bit out of your comfort zone too, I think you mentioned.
Yes, it really is. But, you know, that's how you
show. You're doing awesome.
You have to.
Such a compelling story. It's you just drew me right into your story, and I didn't miss a beat. It was awesome.
Well, you have to get out of your comfort zone to grow. And
yeah, I hear you. It's hard, but there's no other way. There's no other way. I'm just going to pull up the next question. What is that you have noticed are the major roadblocks for people to live their life's purpose?
I feel like the main thing is life in general. We get so wrapped up in the day-to-day and the responsibilities that we have that we don't take time to even think about those things that maybe in the past we dreamed of doing, or those things we always thought we would do and haven't done yet. And because necessity takes over, and you know, you need to work, and so you work at what job you find, and then you have other responsibilities and you have to do what you have to do, and you don't really take the time to look individually at yourself. And I really feel like that is the biggest thing, is just life and our allowing ourselves to just, like you mentioned, just float along in life and take it as it comes. There's so much more to life, but it's not going to just find you. You have to be intentional about what you want and do the things that are going to get you there. And that's really what I feel like. It's just life gets in the way. Not necessarily a bad thing. Life is good, but it's just not taking you to the place where you're the person you really can be.
Okay, so we just get caught up in living life, surviving, doing all the things that are on our to-do list, and we're just so busy and caught up in that we forget to pause and think about what's really important for us.
Right.
That's what you've noticed, is by and large, it's just people are so busy. Okay. A quick follow-up question, if it's okay. When your clients come to you, and that's the roadblock that you see, what is it that made them want to come to you? Like, if they're coming to you, like if that's the roadblock that you see, that people are busy, at some point they stop being busy enough to pick up the phone and meet with you. So what is your experience is that thing that made them pick up the phone?
When people get to a place where the pain of what is so bad that they're willing to go to something else and look for something else. And when they find the place of where they're just unhappy, and they know there's more. And a lot of times that happens when we have gotten to the place of living that life and doing the things expected, and maybe people have raised their family and they've succeeded in their job, and then they're kind of going like, is this all there is? You know, they've done all these things, now what? And you just get to a place where you're not satisfied anymore. And so that's when people start, some people call that halftime. There's a book called Halftime that's amazing about that very thing when you get to that point in life. And that can be at a varied age. It's not, a certain age necessarily. It's just when you've accomplished these things and you're looking for more. When you slow down enough, I guess, to realize there is more.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, next question. Do you have any practical strategies or ideas that you share with your clients that could help listeners today get further along on their path to discovering and embracing their life's mission? So practical strategies or ideas to help them discover and embrace their life's mission.
I mentioned before that I wasn't looking for my life purpose. I didn't know to look for my life purpose. It came in steps. Okay. And when I look back on what I have lived to get to where I am now, to this place of fulfillment, then I realized that there were steps to take. And I wasn't purposely, intentionally doing that myself then, but I can see that people taking those steps now will lead them to that place. And so it's one step at a time. When I was doing it, it was like I would take a step, not really knowing for sure where it was going to take me. It's just I feel like this is where I go next. And, you don't always, and probably most of the time, you don't see the whole staircase when you start to take a step, but you just go because that's where you feel like you're supposed to go. And so I have an acronym that I share that kind of helps people to remember the steps and take them. And so the first is S, which is search yourself. And that's the place to start with whatever. And I ask questions to, such as, how do you want to be remembered at the end of your life? What do you want people to remember about you? And what do you like? What do you enjoy doing? What is that one thing that when you do it makes you feel strong and it just feels right? That thing for me is coaching and helping people to find themselves. But everybody has one of those things. And so I just encourage people to search themselves. And these are the kind of things that I go in depth in the life purpose coaching that I do. And I worked with a client who was a single mom of 3, and she worked through these things and found herself and realized what she enjoys doing. And now she is in school to do what she really wants to do and to better care for her family. But what's incredible about that is that her kids, a couple of them are teenage, they are so proud of her. And she is setting that example and moving forward. And so that's what it really takes. You search yourself, you know yourself, but then you take action. I mean, she took action. That's the next step. You have to do something.
Yeah.
And so you can't take just any action. You need to see what will move you in the way you want to go. Action just for action's sake is not going to take you where you want to go. What I found personally is that it can soothe your conscience because, I'm working, I'm doing this. But if it's not the right thing that's taking you where you really need to be going, then it is not successful. So you take action, you determine what will take you there, And then next, you're going to evaluate the effectiveness of the action. You're going to kind of see, is this really working? Is there a way I can tweak this a little bit and make it work better? And then maybe there's a different action to add to that. But once you've done that, you search yourself, you take action, you evaluate the effectiveness, and then you just do it. You persevere. You stick with it. That is not the easy part, I will assure you.
Yeah.
Life will get in the way.
Yes.
And there will be times, you have to just get yourself back on course. That's been my personal experience and with others that I work with as well. You have to get yourself back on course, but you persevere. You stay with it. And then once you've gotten there, then you step again. It's a process. It's one step. You work through all that. You move forward. Then you do it again. Step again and again and again. And that's what takes. It's simple. You just do the steps.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's simple.
Yeah, and sometimes, oftentimes, when we have like an acronym like that, it helps us persevere, right? It helps us not get, like when we have those moments of frustration or discouragement, it's, okay, I'm going to refocus because I'm doing my steps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when you said persevere, I was thinking of you and your 10 years of studies.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have to have what a coach that I work with calls stick-to-itiveness.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stay with it. You have to keep going. And that doesn't mean that you are going to just be consistent every day doing just what you should be doing. At least it's not been my experience. But that doesn't mean you just quit because we all have a down day once in a while. But you just pick it up, keep going, and you keep going.
Yeah, and I like how you built in that evaluation part because, there's always course corrections.
Right.
So sometimes, we have this vision, but it's maybe not the thing where we're going to end up, but it's a start, right? If you're on a boat and you want to go to Europe, for example, you don't know if you're going to land in the UK, France, or Spain, but you're going to Europe as opposed to South America, right?
The general direction. And what I found is that you, with each of those steps and going in that direction, you may learn something there that's not the best way, or it's something that you wouldn't have known at the time you started. But because you started and went in a particular way, that's when you learned something that really helped direct you a little bit of a different way. But it's still the way you needed to go. But and it's easy to look back at things. I can look back at things in my life and think, that was a waste. That didn't work. But no, if I hadn't gone that way and had that experience, then I wouldn't have been able to get to where I am now. And we learn from those things.
Yeah.
And it all works together to make us who we're supposed to be, or help us.
I really, sorry, I cut you off. Sorry.
Okay.
I just wanted to say I appreciate you sharing your a technique that you use a lot with your clients. Is there anything else that you find that your clients respond to really, really well with the techniques that you use? And if not, that's fine. You're so effective and efficient answering all these questions. We do have a little bit of time still on the clock, so I'm just asking you if you have anything else you were thinking about that you might want to add, and then I do have a final question for you before we talk about your gift.
One thing that I have seen in working with people, I use tools. Like I mentioned, the Strengths Finder that I took into work groups. I use that in my purpose coaching, because that helps people to understand helps them to determine their strengths. And it's an assessment that can be done. And I'm just fascinated by some of the things people come up with. They will say, well, I knew I had that. I knew I was like that, but I never saw it as a strength. And using personality inventory so that people really understand their personality, and understanding how that differs so much from maybe a family member and how they think through things, and just this understanding of themselves and the people around them builds so much enlightenment into people, because we tend to think, especially people who are more to themselves, tend to think, well, everybody thinks like I think. Well, no, nobody thinks just like you think. You know, we're all different. We're all unique. We're supposed to be that way. And we need to be able to allow those around us to be who they are and us to be who we are, and to understand that. And that's one of the things I think that has helped me personally so much, is I've finally grasped who I am and am at a point where I can accept who I am, and not to the point where I'm not still trying to be better, because there's always room for improvement, but accepting who I am, my personality, my strengths, and then making that the very best I possibly can.
Thank you. So steps, and taking the time to really understand who you are, to appreciate, to access some different tools that help you understand what your strengths are, how that works with people in your environment, like your family members, and it leads to being more patient and understanding with them, patient and understanding with yourself, and ultimately full acceptance. It's such a journey, eh? When you go from being very reserved, which I used to be. I've always loved meeting people, but there was a time in my life where I was very, very reserved, and I did, like you, put myself in situations out of my comfort zone, and I'm glad I did, because there's this whole part of me that absolutely loves to meet people. But had I stayed closed, I would not be doing this interview series and meeting all you amazing people in this series. So
Nor would I be here.
Sorry?
Nor would I be here with you if I had it as well.
True enough. So, people, when we listen to things, sometimes there's a lot of information and we don't remember everything. So, what is the one thing you would like people to remember from today, from what you shared today?
I would say take the next step.
Okay.
Whatever that might be for you. Step out of your comfort zone. Do something that's different. Change something. Your life is going to remain the same unless you do something different. And I would say it starts with a mindset, with how we think. Because if we think we can't, then we won't even bother to try.
The power of the mind. Scary stuff. But it's good stuff too when we make it work for us.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I think you mentioned you might have a gift you wanted to share with the audience today.
I do. I have a resource that's called Abundant Living. And this is a very quick read of a document that gives 3 tips. It's very thought-provoking. Ask a lot of questions to just kind of get someone started on their path, started on thinking about where they might want to go, and just kind of delving into themselves. And this can be accessed by texting the word abundant with a T to 44222. Texting the word abundant to 44222. Then they'll just enter the email address and it will be emailed to them.
Wow. That's new. You're the first expert inviting people to text you. That's cool.
And also, I do a weekly blog on my website.
Yes.
That is available. That's just, it's a very short. I like to produce information the way I like to take it in, just kind of a pop of information that you can kind of think about. And so my blogs are short, to the point, and they come out weekly, and they're at my website at liveyourfullestlife.com.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I really appreciate you taking the time and being here today. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.
It has been my pleasure. Thank you so much for reaching out to me, Giselle.
Oh, my pleasure. So I want to thank everyone for coming to listening to Carolyn today. Help you understand what practical ideas that you can use, baby steps, search yourself, take action, evaluate effectiveness, persevere, and start again by searching yourself. So I think that's a very practical strategy for you. And if there's anything else that you would like from Carolyn to help you find and explore your life's purpose, of course, don't be shy to reach out to Carolyn. So thanks again, everyone, and do stay tuned for other experts. Everybody I have met has been amazing and outstanding, and they all have a particular focus that they bring to this topic of overcoming adversity, being happy, and living the life of your dreams. So stay tuned. Thank you, everyone, and thanks again, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.